Okay, so IEEE as an international organization um, spans across 10 regions of the world, region 1 to region 10. And region 8 happens to encompass Africa, Middle East, and Europe. Interestingly, Nigerian section is one of the components of region 8. So if you belong to IEEE Nigerian section, you are part of the global community of IEEE, within the region 8 scope. So our activity spans across the strategic roadmap of IEEE till 2030. So if you are a member of IEEE, you must raise your shoulder high and understand that you are part of the global community that will change the world for better. In IEEE, we have what they call the organizational units. We have the chapters, we have the affinity groups, we have the young professionals, we have the life members. These are some components of the IEEE ecosystem. And then interestingly, if you're a member of IEEE Nigerian section and you have subscribed to Consultant Network, you belong to this particular group. And most of the things we're going to be doing will be in line with the philosophy of IEEE Consultant Network. I want to let us know that IEEE Nigerian section happens to be the first IEEE Consultant Network in the whole of entire Region 8. When we started this initiative, I remember I discussed with our IPC, being somebody who is open-minded and then a great progressive, he encouraged the efforts, and then I was able to put up the proposal, writing to Region 8, justifying why we need to float Consultant Network. Because we discovered that we have a lot of consultant experts in the industry that necessarily not member of IEEE, but in their space, they are consultants in quotes. So we wanted to use this platform to reach out to them, draw them to IEEE Nigerian section, and then get them into what we're doing, and then begin to champion the cause of Consultant Network. And so far, so good. Region 8 has bestowed so much confidence on us to replicate and create a new rebirth for other consultant network within the IEEE Region 8. And I can tell you that apart from Nigeria, we have in Tunisia, we have several other countries, they are beginning to adapt to a model. Sometimes they reach out to me. How did we start this? We share notes, and then we now be able to support them, and then they are floating and they are moving. So our dream is to see how we can extend our reach to other African countries within the Region 8 scope, and then run with the same philosophy. Our activities are being governed by the IEEE Consultant Network Alliance in the US. Actually, they are the ones spearheading the activities, and there are a lot of templates, newsletters, a lot of things within that space that our members are, supposed to have access to. The consultant network is not a place where we just talk about how to build robots, how to build systems that you see within the research piece. Our aim is actually to talk about consulting practice, best what do you call it, state of the art, practices, international recognized protocols within the consultant framework that will enable you as a professional to sell yourself to your immediate community, to your country, to your environment, and then be able to, take the lead. And so we take leadership responsibility in the IEEE Consultant Network very seriously, unlike any other place. People are trained to be leaders to the core, because you can't be a consultant without understanding the leadership fabrics. So in Consultant Network, we're going to be looking at all that, and then that will help us to understand the overall philosophy, governing this particular affinity group. Already, we are highly recognized in Region 8. We are highly recognized in IEEE family. And then, unfortunately, because our members are still joining, they don't really understand, the scope of our activities and their responsibilities as well. So I'm happy to announce that in the Nigerian section, we've started building structures. We've formed, executives. We've been part of several, activities and, programs within the IEEE Nigerian section. We've been part of several collaboration. We've been part of several engagement and talks that's targeted to project the image of IEEE Nigerian section. So that is what we do. And anywhere you are, just know that as a member of Consultant Network, you are a leader in your organization. And part of our blueprint should be part of your driving force to making your organization to become a better place. I don't know how many of you can see the screen with a structure, just facing you. I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yes, we can see.
Okay, great. So I had the privilege of visiting this particular location, and then I had a meeting in this particular facility. This is the Burj Khalifa that I'm sure many of you must have heard about, the tallest building in the world, located in Dubai Marina, Dubai Mall, built by the Emma, Incorporated, one of the biggest real estate developing companies in the world. I had the privilege of meeting with the first group and several other internationally recognized groups doing marvelous projects in the desert region of the UAE, Dubai, Oman, and other federative units of the Emirates. And when I got to this place, the philosophies and the ideals of IEEE Consultant Network became very real. And I was here on a project, organized by Tech Fund Nigeria. I serve as a technical committee group where we were able to evaluate some projects on behalf of Tech Fund, some of their programs they are running in that place. So now, when we looked at this structure, when we had that discussion, we had meetings with a series of consultants. And these persons, I got to understand that there's a philosophy, there's a program for anyone that happens to identify within the consulting group. Whether you're in the academia, whether you're in the industry, there's a writing philosophy, there's a template, there's a book of practice, or what they call standard operating procedure, that you must be familiar with in order to excel within this space. This building represents over 856 meters, feet or meters high structure built within the Persian Ocean basin in that environment. They call it the Burj Khalifa. And this is one of the heroic and one of the massive structures in this environment that generate a lot of income, GDP of that United Arab Emirates. This was built by a group of consultants who understood the philosophy of how to build systems and superstructures. So in the Nigerian section, one of the philosophy and one of the things we want to do is to help our professionals, our experts to understand this book of practice, this standard operating procedure, so that if you are an expert in an area, you understand the prevailing state of the art that will enable you to excel and then become much more relevant and do your work like a real consultant. So I needed to paint this picture to understand the kind of thinking, the clouding those that have identified within the consulting space. Now remember, as a member of IEEE Consultant Network, it is believed that you've had sufficient number of years of experience within your professional domain, where you should be able to use this number of years, your experience, to drive systems, drive processes, and above all, mentor young people that will be relevant in your space. One of the big problems we discover in this part of the world is that we don't have mentorship, we don't have classic role models. Even the ones we have, they're quite limited. We need to have more so that we can, engage more young people and then show them direction on the best way and the best path to follow to become the best in their respective field of calling. And that is one of the things we want to be doing in IEEE Consultant Network. It's not just a conglomeration of group coming together to just look at things, but we have a vision, we have a mission, and we want to drive all that so as to help our immediate environment to excel. I belong to the academia. Each time I see the ASU group and the group of professionals and the kind of engagement we have in our platforms and the kind of things we do, I begin to feel very sad and begin to feel very bad because it simply means that we are yet to understand the exact and the real potentials that we can unleash to become much more impactful and then support our communities and societies beyond just teaching and research within our space. So many things happen within this environment, which in course of our programs, I'm going to unbundle that. We're able to build a lot of collaboration with some folks in other regions doing very great job in the IEEE space. Those of them in Lebanon, some of them in even in UAE and some other regions. And we want to work together in some of our engagements. Some of them will be coming to speak to us. The practices, how do they build projects? How do they involve in systems? How do they involve themselves in things that have helped them so much to make the kind of impact we require. So this is our vision. As you look at this building, this is the kind of mindset you should begin to have if you are in IEEE Consultant Network. Our vision, our mission should be as tall as the Burj Khalifa. Anywhere you are, this is the kind of mindset we want to elevate amongst our members. Whether we are planning for conference, we are planning for a workshop, we are planning for departmental accreditation, we are planning for projects, we should have a different kind of thinking that will help us to deliver a superstructure. And that is what we want to do in the IEEE Nigeria section. So on this note, I want to welcome every one of us to this brilliant engagement and all the things we are going to discuss in this meeting. Please, I want us to take them very seriously and then see how we can take the consultant network to the next level so that we can support the section and become more useful and more relevant to ourselves. Thank you very much. And I wish us a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you. Okay. I don't know. Secretary, are you here now? Bimbo, are you here? Okay, Bimbo, if you are not here, let me just recap the agenda, the things we want to discuss quickly, and we'll have contributions and then we'll begin to move forward. Hello, can you still hear me, please?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, first things first, let me thank the IEEE Nigeria section for giving us the opportunity to participate in the just concluded the IEEE Nigeria conference. I can see our LOC chair here. I can see some of our TCP members and all the people that participated to make that conference a meaningful success. There are areas we are going to improve on from our own contribution, and moving forward, I'm sure we're going to do a great job. So thank you so much, and we look forward to more support and contribution for our members. So that's that. Number two, there's a collaboration going on between the IEEE Consultant Network and the IEEE USA. That seems to be the grand norm, the father of all the consultant network within the regions. We want to bring all the consultant network within one umbrella and then begin to champion our cause. The same way other affinity groups, other chapters are doing some great job, the consultant network is looking in that direction. We've been having series of meetings before now, the IEEE consultant in the USA, to see how we can harness the potentials and then build a very robust database where all the consultants will be profiled in this database, and then they will be engaged meaningfully within the consulting activities in the regions. So that discussion is going on, and I'm sure that many of us that are members, IEEE will have an automated database. So you get to a point where you'll be receiving direct calls from the consultant network USA to be part of their either events, programs, and then maybe projects in regions that matters. And so the level of discussion there is so high that if you're in consultant network, you need to scale up. We expect members of consultant network to be attending things like World Economic Forums. We expect members of consultant network to be part of the climate change initiative going on across the globe. We expect members of consultant network to be part of the policy drafts of several United Nations, UNESCO, and all that, because these are the people that will be able to shape the future. So if you are a part of IEEE Nigerian Section Consultant Network, please, when you see this kind of calls, make yourself available and try to attend. The last World Economic Forum, I'm not sure many of us took time to participate because this is where global decisions are taken. And if you are not part of that kind of forum, you will really not understand where the future is going. And your consulting exposure will be narrowly debilitated. So I want to encourage us to begin to think in that direction. When we see some of these global programs, try as much as possible to make yourself available so that you can benefit and then contribute. So that's number one. Number two, we want to start extending our consulting collaborations with bodies that matter. Already before now, the IEEE Nigerian section have, through the effort of our former MD, Engineer Blati, engaged in very strong collaborative drive with some of the private enterprise in Nigeria, like the Cisco, the IBM, and the likes. We want to drive this initiative more because the more we have this kind of collaboration, the more we create this kind of visibility, the better for the section overall. So our contribution will be to consolidate the effort of the section and enable us to become more visible. So I had the opportunity of discussing with the former Inspector General of Police, Dr. Solomon Erasie, who happens to be the chair of this AMALON, Association of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning of Nigeria. And we agreed that the consultant network of IEEE Nigerian section will participate in a collaborative drive. We want to go into collaboration with them and see how we can infiltrate the military and the paramilitary to drive some of the policies that they have currently on ground. That discussion is ongoing, and we want to build MOUs and then work with the section and see how we can collaborate with these bodies. Our idea is to see how we can get into the mainstream of government. We need to be part of government policy making. The NCC, the TED Fund, the NIDA, and the likes. How are the consultant network, participating in some of the consulting policy drive and the initiatives going on within that space? And they are very glad to welcome that collaboration. So one of the things we're going to be doing now is to drive strong collaboration within this space. And so all the ESCOs, all the members, please, we're going to be calling on you to see how you can participate, because the more visible we are, the better for the section and the better for the, the group. So collaboration is one of the things we want to start doing very seriously. The section have been doing that, but we need to consolidate the effort of the section, like the NCC. They need that. Some of them we already have with them. The Amelion and several other, disruptive, associations and bodies that we believe will help us to make inroads. So that discussion and that effort is going on, and then we'll be sharing, some templates as per the proposals and the MOUs that we will have, and the programs that these people have that they want us to, collaborate with them and then drive. That's one of the things we want to do. Then the consultant network wants to encourage all our members to be much more involved in section activities, in registration and renewal of their membership, because automatically once you're an IEEE member, you're qualified to become a member of the IEEE consultant network. And then we want to invite the IEEE USA, Derek and the group, so that they will be part of this workshop series that you are planning to roll out, shortly. What you see on my screen is one of the template programs. We might not have time to go into this tonight, but this is one of the things we're going to be looking at, so that you understand the structures of IEEE Consultant Network, how we operate, the impact and the future prospects. This meeting will help us to drive that conversation, because we want to invite the IEEE USA to be part of our meeting. It's a practice here to give us talks on this, and then to let our members understand their roles and responsibilities, the resources available, and then how we can scale, within the consultant network. So we need to start our technical collaboration series or technical workshop series that borders on consulting best practices And then leadership and mentorship. We need to get into that very seriously. And at the ESCO level, we have agreed that this is actually the way to go. And then we want to do that. One of the things we want to do is that amongst our members, we have experts. We have several people that are already doing consulting services. We want to start having panel discussions for them to share their experiences, those of them in the industry, those of them in the academia, to share their experiences, share their, prospects, concept, what do you call it, ideas within their space to see how we can help some of our members come up to the point where they will be able to effectively contribute. So we're going to be having part of our technical sections. We want to be having panel discussions that borders on consulting practice and then its employability and all that. One of our members happened to be duped by one of these floating consulting firms that claimed to be recruiting company for one of the top global companies in the US. This person does not understand the terrain, and then they were able to freeze her out of her money, collect a lot of things from her in the name of floating jobs and all that. So, but if we have had, series of these engagements where people understand how to distinguish between, prospective job vacancies, employability skills, and things like that, I'm sure people will not fall prey to such. And those that are actually looking for meaningful employment through this kind of panel discussions, will be able to get insights on how to make inroads and then have access to these industries. The industries are looking forward to getting people that will contribute. So with this kind of discussion, we'll be able to know more as to the best practices and how we can scale, within that field. So panel discussion is one of the things we want to start doing, and that will be fine. Then mentorship for our universities and the tertiary institution, we want to get into that very seriously. And then we want to move into more collaboration with the industry. I was with Tech Fund subcommittee on the NRF, and I discovered that this concept of triple helix model is more like a theoretical concept. In the real sense of it, such is not really existing. The industry, they are on their own. The academia, they are on their own. The government, they're on their own. And so people are just doing what they like. So my discussion with, the NUC and all those people, there's strong need for this thing to become very practical. How do we make this triple helix concept very practical, very realistic? How do you create models that will help us to achieve that very quickly? Consultant network want to build on the triple helix model. How do we bridge the gap? How do we help to get it into the industry, get these experts, connect them with the academy, and then see how things work? There are so many theoretical discussions going on, but we want to see it from a new, and more practical perspective. Already we'll have some templates and we'll have some people that will help us make this thing to work. That's one of the things we want to do in the consultant network. And then finally, we want to build on sustainability. How do we sustain the IEEE consultant network? How do we sustain the initiative in the section? And then how do we collaborate more and then see how we can improve the activity within the section? So all these are, some of the discussions are what some of the plans we have, and then we feel that it's important this night. We share these ideas with, all the members and people that have contributions and direction on how we go about them. Will make their submissions, and then moving forward, we'll be able to make, progress. So on that note, I want to summarize. If any one of our ESCO members is here that want to chip in one or two things, probably I didn't capture, you are free to do that, and then we'll open the floor for more debate and discussion so that in the next 30 minutes or so, we should be able to close out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kennedy, for the insightful proceedings of the discussions.
Please, so what's your name, please? So that, please, what's your name, and can you introduce yourself so that, yeah.
Okay, this is Engineer Chigozie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we just throw the, you captured most of the discussions we had prior to now. So I think we'll just have the floor so that we have more contributions from the members of the consultants network. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I have on the platform, please, you do your best to, make your contribution, no matter how little it is. I don't believe in, too many discussion. I believe in little tiny drops of water that makes the ocean. So any contribution, any suggestion will be very useful. I'm the secretary of this Amelion. There's a discussion going on now on this electoral debates reform and how AI will be brought into place. And I saw a whole lot of senior experts in the paramilitary, from the former Inspector General of Police, Dr. Solomon Arasi, who is my chair in that particular association. And the kind of brilliant discussion I saw there were so really, they were very enticing. And that actually prompted me to initiate that discussion as per collaboration and how we can work with them. So these are the kind of things I want us to start looking at, how to reach out, not just waiting for the section to bring something. We need to move out, bring something, and then see how we can enrich ourselves. So the world is on a collaborative mode right now. On that, I want us to make our submissions and contributions within this space. So the floor is open, please. Feel free to make your contribution. There are so many things I've talked about: World Economic Forum, climate change discussion, IEEE Consultant Network USA, the consulting practice in the Dubai Emirates, and several things I mentioned tonight. So you can pick anywhere you want and then shoot. The floor is open. Thank you.
I think there is a suggestion from the charts. We have Engineer Abdul Latif. He made some suggestion from the charts. Let me just read it out so that we hear. The way to go is to bridge the gap with the industry, work closely with AFL, and the team should not work in silos. We should not duplicate efforts. Thank you very much, Engineer Lee.
Okay, yeah, Lee, thank you so much for that, update. For those of us, Lee, I don't know if you are here. Sec, if you are here, please. For those of us that are not familiar with the AFL, the industry, alliance group, if you can just help, just 1 or 2 minutes, throw more light on the activity of the AFL, and then we'll be able to capture that properly. I completely agree with the duplicity of efforts. We wouldn't want to duplicate efforts, honestly, and that's why we are very careful for that. Okay, so that's action for industry. You just mentioned that now. Action for industry. I don't know how strong, I don't know how far we've gone with that. Otherwise, it's actually a very good place to start. The action for industry, their initiative, and then how the consultant network will be able to fit into their program so that we'll avoid this duplicity of efforts. I completely agree. I completely agree. Thank you.
Please, we have a hand raised. Professor Nasir Farouk.
Okay. Prof, okay, good.
Yeah, can I go on?
Go on, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Okafor. And I hope you are still enjoying Dubai, or you are back in Nigeria.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
yes,
enjoying it. Thank
yes.
you.
You are indeed doing great.
Thank you.
And I'm also happy to be within the Consultant Network Group. And based on the scope you presented, I think if it's not going to be too much for the ESCO, or maybe a kind of working group within the consulting network to create a directory, because if we're talking about consultancy engaging policymakers, government, and etc., perhaps there's a need for us to know uh, a kind of area of strength. What do we do? Who does that? What does, for example, what is my area of specialty? So something like that. If we can have maybe a long-term goal within the family of the consultants, that okay, this is a kind of a profile of each of the member or whatever. So it will help a lot, so that once you need a particular um, skills, you can easily pick out and know who's the kind of person that you can recommend. Perhaps
Okay.
it may help. It's just a suggestion anyway. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just a quick one. I know MDs, former MDs here, will have our generic database in the IEEE Nigeria section that that captures the professional expertise of all the members of IEEE in the Nigerian section. Then we have the consultant network in that database, because once we sort it, we'll be able to filter those members that are actually in the IEEE consultant network. And then there are areas of specialties. So database is not really our big problem now, because with what our OU analytics, the way it's structured, those database, in fact, all of you here that are members of IEEE, your details are already there. So to sieve out things is not going to be a problem. Some of you might not know some things we do. We use these analytics to take certain decisions. So that is not a problem. We'll have a database, but moving forward, as we roll out this roadmap, those that their programs align strongly with our areas of mandates. For example, TETFON wanted to have a discussion with us prior to the time we are having this conference. But what happened is that the group wanted to meet, travel to Brazil. So they weren't around. Already we have, identified people that will represent the consultant network to have that engagement based on their area of expertise within the agricultural value chain. So that roadmap is ongoing. What we might do is to probably publish the name again and their areas of specialty, so that people can know the individual specialties of our colleagues and their members here, for more engagement at this level. But at the top level, where we'll be having very specific engagement, we know the people who can pick that will make meaningful and useful contributions in such a consulting or such policy engagement. Thank you. I saw Engineer Ablatif raising his hand. Please, you can go ahead now, please.
Hi, Dr. Kennedy. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to remain mute, but I just had to just share some few words.
No, just secretary like, secretary cannot be mute, please. It's not possible.
So the thing is, Dr. Nasser, thank you for all your efforts. There's still a lot to learn within IEEE community. Database is never a problem, just like Dr. Kennedy said. And consultant network, it's actually an affinity group. It's not a technical society. It's an affinity group that brings together people of similar interests, just like we have the young professional women in engineering, and to be a member is free. So everybody, in terms of what you do, your area of specialty and stuff, it's there in the database of IEEE, but the GDPR rules will not allow us to, just start to contact people except if they want to be contacted. But another good way to do all these easy collaborations is on Collaboratech. You can platform, you see a lot of details about people that they want to share, and you'll be able to do this connection. So what I'm thinking about the Action for Industry is, you see, there's a grant that was already granted to the Nigerian section to do some activities in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, and they're already talking to industry. So if this community is looking at bridging gap with the industry, they can actually do that by collaborating with the Action for Industry ambassador, which is Patient Enahoro. I held that role for 4 years, and I gave her a succession, and she's taking that. So
Okay.
you can work closer with patients. And they have this money from technical activities tab to do all these activities. So it's the fastest and quickest way for you to connect with the industry. Since they've signed some MOUs already and it's
Okay.
already in place and it's active. Yeah, just I'll post now and continue the good work, and we're happy to support you. Thank you.
Great. Great. This is IEEE Nigerian Section Secretary, former Membership Development Officer, Engineer Latif. Latif, please, we appreciate these useful suggestions. For those of us that are not familiar with IEEE Collaboratech, I'm sure some of us, when we were trying to get our certificates, we were able to launch IEEE Collaboratech, and then we're able to download certificates. If you go through that platform or that environment, you will see several collaborative activities going on. I have so many people I'm collaborating with within the Region 8, and then across several universities within the, not just African continent and other continents. So unfortunately, there's so much in IEEE that many of us were yet to explore. I want to thank Mr. Blati for bringing this up. Collaboratech is very, very important as far as you want to grow your career and become much more visible within the, your area of specialization. So I'm going to encourage every one of us gets into Collaboratech, update your profile and then begin to engage. It's another way of expanding our visibility. We can't talk, less about that. So maybe some other time moving forward, we might need to have another discussion on Collaboratech and how people can, profitably benefit. I'm a big, strong beneficiary, so, and many of our schools, so we want to encourage us to go and look at it and then see how you can begin to benefit. So the second point you mentioned was the action for industry engagement. So that's a very brilliant and a very wonderful initiative. I want to assure them that we're going to use our working group. We'll have our technical people, the university affiliates, and all our ESCO represented here. They're taking notes. We'll reach out to engineer patients and see how we can foster that collaborations and see how we can, contribute meaningfully to bridging the gap between the industry and the academy. Good thing is that we'll have follow-up persons within the academic space. Then we'll have some industry people here. So it will be easier for us to bridge the learning curve. So thank you very much for that suggestion, and it's well noted and taken. So more suggestions and more submissions, please. Maybe I might need to call some names if you permit me. And then we'll see how that spans out. I saw one particular person here. Where's this lady from that works with AU, African Union, or is she here? What's her name? Amanda, are you here? Oh, okay, she left the group.
I think she dropped off the call.
Okay, because I need her contribution here. They are working with African Union. We want to find out how we can benefit from what African Union they are doing and how our consultants can, So please, while that is going on, I'll be glad to hear more input from our colleagues, as a follow-up to what Engineer Latif earlier made suggested. Consult chair. Yeah, few more suggestions.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kennedy. Great contributions here, and I think this is quite a loaded one. A whole lot of information passed here, and I think sometimes less is better. There are a lot we can start talking about, but I think there's a lot for us to process. And then for an inaugural meeting, for the first meeting, I think we should take just a little few more, and I think we can call it a day while people start processing what the information they've gotten, and then prepare for the next one. I think it will be more explosive. I think a lot I want to contribute, but I think I'll let it be for the next time.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Um, um, in the absence of any other submission, because why we wanted to have this meeting is to give our members an idea of what is going on, and then for them to appreciate what the IEEE Consultant Network stands for, what we stand to gain if we work together, and then we'll be able to, make progress. There are so many things we can't mention here, but I want to assure us that if we follow up, all of us stand the chance of winning together and then succeeding together. So I want to give a typical example of the kind of thing we want to encourage more. In the university where I work as a visiting professor, University of Johannesburg, and in my local university here in Nigeria, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, there's this TED Fund grant that TED Fund floats every year, and then people go into bidding, submit proposal, and then people do all that, So all the time they were calling meetings and doing all the things they were doing, they didn't see me because we were busy with IEEE and some of the things we were doing in my university. So when they released the results for the TED Fund concept note, my research cluster, we got like almost 10 of those of those concept notes, and it was a very big disruption because people were shocked. I mean, these people they are not part of the regular meetings they've been doing and all the activities within the university. They have several section training and all that. But with the structure we have in the IEEE Consultant Network, our model is completely different from what the university is doing. And interestingly, our model is what TED Fund and many funding agencies, they use in assessing grants and stuff like that. And so it was a big shocker to many people. And when they were asking us, asking me and my group, you people were not part of this training. We didn't see you for once and all. How manage your cost alone took almost all the things that. So that happened because within the IEEE Consultant Network, we have experts. If there are things I don't understand, I can easily call up Engineer Latif. He's a top manager in phase 3 and ask him, how does this work? He will explain to me, I will take notes. I'll call Engineer Zuka. He's an entrepreneur of a different level, of a different magnitude, and I ask him question, how does this work? He give me an idea. I call some other persons, and then by the time, because they will talk to me from a very generic point of view, they might not be telling me all the Laplace transform and the Schrodinger equation that I've been teaching for years. They will tell me what is possible in the industry, what is possible in the market. And then by the time I combine those ideas together and I produce a proposal, I don't know who will compete with me when that proposal goes for assessment. And that is why a consultant network want to consolidate that kind of culture where we do things differently to produce results and then learn how to create sustainability that will make very useful and meaningful impact. And that is the kind of thing we want to do in the IEEE Consultant Network. That will require a lot of collaboration. That will require a lot of commitment, to support what we are doing. So, having given this background information, I want us to, escalate this discussion in our respective room as we go back. Think about these things. Think of who and who you can introduce to IEEE Consultant Network that will enrich what we're doing and support this section. Secondly, I'm going to be calling on some of us here in some of the top level meetings we're having. We can invite you as a panel speaker. We can invite you as a keynote or whatever, please, when we reach out to you, please be disposed to accept such responsibility, and then be part of what we're doing. All this just to see how we can support the global vision of IEEE, advancing technology for humanity. So I wish us the very best. And then as we close out tonight, I will strongly support that we continue to drive this conversation and then close out very well. All the points raised this evening from Professor Farouk, Engineer Blati, and then Engineer Zuka, all of them are well noted, and we're going to integrate them properly. We'll share this recorded meeting with those that didn't participate so that they can follow up. So in the final closeout, I don't know, somebody will have to give us very short vote of thanks, and then make remarks that will help us to close out this meeting. So I want to thank everyone. Thank you very much. So I don't know who is led. One of our females can give us a very the very closing remark for this particular meeting so that we can close out. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We thank I'm Dr. Hereta. We thank Dr. Kafo and the team and the schools and all those that participated. This is quite very wonderful, and we are looking forward to making it a reality, practical, not that not the one in the politics. They say a lot and do little. And we believe that this discussion will make our environment, the local places, a better place, and IEEE will soar higher. Thank you very much, and thank you all that participated. God bless you.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you very much for that short, brilliant submission. Thank you very much. So, in the absence of any other thing, we are going to shut down the meeting. It's a short meeting, but I'm sure we'll be able to take out some points. Please, all the ESCOs, I'm sure you've taken notes, begin to work on your templates because we're going to be calling for reports very soon, and the section will be glad to know what we're doing to scale. So thank you very much, and God bless you. Yeah, please, if you are here, you thank you very much. Those of us that have one grant or the other, please try to reach out now that I'm available so I can process your grants and then you can close out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to close this meeting now.